If you're looking to sell your property in 2025 successfully, you're in the right spot. So I talk about how to sell your house successfully on this podcast quite a lot. And by the way, if you're new to the podcast, I'm Betty Gonzalez, your host on Building Connections Doral Talks. And if I talk in this podcast, everything Doral and everything that has everything to do with South Florida and about selling and buying your properties. And in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the top 10 things you need to know before you even put your house on the market. So before you even think about putting your house on the market, you need to be watching this video right now. And let's start right away. So this is going to be a little bit of they're going to take the most for me to explain. And it's going to be number one. The number one reason that you need to know when you put your house on the market in 2025. All of them are important. They're not in any kind of order. But I want to start with the buyer's agent compensation. And what I want you to know as a seller, it's quite a few things. So I'm going to start with saying it is the buyer's responsibility to pay the own buyer's agent compensation. I have a caveat to that, and I'm going to tell you why. So, Betty, why are you telling me this? Well, I'm telling you this because right now, and it has been since the middle of 2024, I need you to understand because I don't want you to get lost in whatever it is that the media is saying without any clarity. The buyers are not even able to view properties. A buyer's agent is not even able to show a property to a buyer unless they have a buyer's agent agreement up front to be able to show your house for them to come and look at the house. And this buyer agreement has a compensation in it that the buyer and the seller are agreeing, right? So what does this mean to you? Okay, Betty, before you go crazy and say, I don't want to pay any buyer's compensation, you don't have to. However, and this is a big however, most buyers agent and most buyers are going to put in this in the offers. I know this because I am doing this for my buyers and most sellers are receiving buyer's agent compensation. However, the big difference now is that if you're a seller and you are going to offer a buyer's agent compensation, we are no longer allowed to advertise it on the MLS. That's the major difference here. And if you're, for example, if I'm going to come talk to you on your property, I'm not going to discuss the specifics of any buyer's agent compensation. All I'm going to talk to you and most sellers agent are going to talk to you how the compensation is going to be between you and that seller's agent. However, the expectation that I want you to get as the seller is that when the offers come in for your property, that they are going to then have a buyer's compensation in it, as well as other expectations of how much they're going to offer, timing for the concessions and what's and so on and whatnot. Okay. At that moment is when you can actually negotiate the buyer's agent compensation, if any. You can say no, but I highly advise you that because of the highest rate that we're having, the housing market still hasn't put in that much dent into lowering the prices. The houses are still high in comparison to before pre-pandemic levels. And the truth is that salaries hasn't kept up with how much house rose and as well as the interest rates. So you're going to see a lot of buyer's agent asking for this compensation in the offer. What I want you to know is that you don't have to negotiate it up front. You could, but if you do negotiate up front with your seller's agent, that your seller's agent is not allowed to advertise it on the MLS. So that's point blank. And if you don't negotiate it up front, that don't be surprised if you see it once you receive offers. At the end of the day, what you need to focus is what is the net proceeds that you're going to get and if this is going to work for you. So that's what I want you to be aware. And I'm saying that to say this, that you need to be open to all offers that come to the table. Again, because what you want to focus is what's going to be the net proceeds that you're going to take as a seller. And the more offers that you get in, the more that you're going to be able to determine that be depending on the terms that they put in this offer. Now, the number two thing that you need to know as a seller for this 2025 is that last year, 2024, they're forecasting for 2025 to sell more houses nationwide. And in 2024, we sold as a nation 4.6 million properties worth of inventory. And they are projected to have a 5.2 million homes sale in 2025. A lot of the gridlocks were because obviously 2024 was an election year and there's a lot of uncertainty whether this affects like factually, if it affect the market value or not, the market was affected because it was a sentiment of emotional, even though it might not be rational, it was emotionally. So it was like the market froze for the last 3, 4, even the last 2 months of the year. People were really, not of the year, but prior to the election, prior to November, people were really frozen because they didn't know which way to go. And because they believe that depending on the person who win, that the interest rates will swing one way or the other, which what we know right now is that it has stayed steadily where it was. We're hoping for it to drop a little bit next year or this year. However, we're not anticipating to have a big drop. We're hoping for the best, to be in the low 6, hopefully in the mid 5s, but we don't know. This is just totally hoping or speculations, to say the least. Okay. So also, this is what I want you to know, that what's in right now. This is number 3 on my list of what, as a seller, you need to know, is that buyers now are a little bit more picky, and they want to see more tidy spaces. They want to see more deferred maintenance, up to date, and what they want to see is nature. So if you want to put your house on the market, make sure that whatever decorations you have are bright and light and earthy. They're looking more into the nature. So make sure that you have all of your windows opened and clean from inside and from the outside. That you have, like, if you're going to have drapery, that if your curtains are like heavy or dark colors, maybe if you don't want to change the draperies or replace them with brighter and light ones and neutral colors, that at least you open them, that you make sure that you open the windows, that you if you have any plants on your property, that you have them nice and trimmed and nicely placed, because more and more buyers are younger generations, and they're looking for nature and light and brightness. So even when you hire or your agent, and they're going to bring the people for the photography, that they highlight the beauty and the nature of your property. So make sure you open all of the windows and let the bright come in. And when they take the pictures, not only they have the windows open, but you also have all of the lights turned on in your property, so your house can come bright and airy on those pictures. Because remember, the first open house that you are presenting to any buyer is online. So if the buyers are not compelled and the pictures are not painting the picture of nature and brightness and light in your property, a lot of buyers might not even want to come and see your property. So that's number 3. Number 4, that I want you to know, and why I say you need to have the right expectations when you come on the market as a seller, is that it is a fact that the house are taking way longer to sell. And as number one nation, is taking on average 80 days from the time that your property come on the market to the time that you receive an offer. So if you think about it, this is nearly 3 months for you to be on the market. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to sell. It's just on average. Some sell faster, and obviously some take longer. But if you as a buyer have the right expectations, then you're not going to be stressed out or nervous thinking that your house is not going to sell. There's some caveat to that's going to feed into number 5. But what I want you to know is that it is taking longer. So for example, for instance, I was talking about how the market was reacting, or how the market ended for 2024 right here just in my city of Doral. And what I'm going to tell you, it was really shocking, even for me, to find out that 35% of properties that came on the market came off the market without selling. That only 65% of the property, so if 100 houses came on the market, only 65 of those 100 houses actually sold, and 35 of those houses did not sell at all for whatever reason, either because the contract expired with that agent, because the sellers got desperate or decided that it was just taking too long. And what me telling you that on average it's taking longer. On average nationwide it's taking 80 days. For Miami date is taking 79 days, very on par with on average for the nationwide. And here in Doral is taking around 40 days. That does not mean that it's not going to be able to take it probably longer coming into 2025. Why? Because there's more inventory. There's more inventory now than it was in 2024. So the more inventory, that means that there's more homes on the market than there's demand for buyers for the markets. And what does that mean as well? The buyers have more choice choices. They have more choices on different houses and different price points. And the sellers that are really, really, really in need to sell, those are going to be the ones that are going to sell faster. Why? Because they're going to be more serious and they're going to be more aggressive in their pricing. And I'm going to touch that on some of my other numbers that you need to know. So what I want you to know is that from time to they come in the market, for the time that you get a contract offer that you accept, is on average 80 days nationwide. So if you are planning to come on the market, just be aware and be mentally prepared that it might take that long. Now, reason number five that you need to know before you put your house on the market in 2025 so that you can have the right expectations is, okay, listen to me. First of all, this goes hand in hand with the agent that you hire, because the agent that you hire needs to set the right expectations up front so that you know exactly what you're getting into with your eyes wide open. Even if you've sold houses before, each market brings its own burden, and whatever you experience whenever you sold before is not going to be the same thing. For example, even if you bought in 2021, for example, and you sold in 2020 or 2021, beginning of 2021, and then you sold and you bought. If you put your house on the market, your house sold just like this, like hotcakes, right? And it was harder for you to put an offer. However, if you come on to sell now, it might not be the same experience. So each market has to bring its own. So that's why it is number 5 for me is you got to listen to the feedback that your agent is giving you. And for this, you have to have the right agent that know your market. So know exactly what this means. So if you put your house on the market and you believe you have the perfect home for that area and that they were selling that your neighbors sold for whatever amount of money above asking and it's so fast, well, what you need to know now is that let's say that you put your house on the market and there is nobody that came to look at your house. Your house has been on the market for 25 days and you have 0 showing. Wow. What is the feedback? What is the feedback without nobody even telling you anything? The feedback, my friend, is that your house is overpriced. That's what the feedback is. And it's telling you loud and clear by nobody coming to look at your house. Now, if there are people showing up in your house and they're looking at your house, but there's no offers, they're saying you've been in the market for 10 days, you've been in the market for 20 days, you've been in the market for 30 days, and you have a lot of traffic in your property, but you have 0 offers, my friend, the feedback is that your house is overpriced. This is the feedback, whether people telling you or not. Now, let's say that you're getting feedback, real feedback, from you have your agent and your agent is asking the other agents, what are their buyers saying, why they're not putting an offer. And what they're telling you is, we need more backyard space. It's not that big, or the front yard is too small, or we don't have a porch. The layout is not as open, or what this is happening. This is code. This is like secret code for a buyer to say to you as a feedback that your house is too high. It is priced too high because if it is priced correctly, they will oversee the backyard. They will oversee anything that they're telling you. They will oversee that because the price will make sense for them and the house will be the obvious choice in the eyes of the buyers for them to put in an offer. So the longer the time that your house stays on the market, my friend, the least amount of money you will get. That doesn't mean it's not going to sell. What happens is if it's too high, you will start to chase the market down. Okay, so enough on that. So now the number 6 reason that you need to know when you put your house on the market now in this market is tied to everything else is presentation. Your house has to be presented in the best light. So what you need to do is you need to depersonalize your property in order for any buyer coming through your property to envision themselves, to envision their families, to envision their lifestyle. And what do I mean by depersonalizing? Well, you need to take away your family photos. Besides safety, that it's imperative to depersonalize it for the buyers to just envision themselves there and know your family and your life. So this means take your personal photos down, put them away. You can have photos if you want of things that are not of your family. You can put pictures of something else other than your family. And you might even want to take, like I was in the military, for example. Even if you're in the military, you might want to take away some of the memorabilia that you have, some of your awards, some of your giveaway, trophies and plaques and stuff that you had. If If you graduated from a specific college or university, maybe you want to take those down. If you work for a specific company, you might want to take those down because that's very personal to you and your family. And besides, you want to take those off for safety reasons. You also want to take it for depersonalization. Along with depersonalizing your space, you want to make your space to be a little bit more airy. So you want to take 30% of whatever it is that you have in your property and either do one or three things. Either donate it, or you might do a yard sale and then sell it in that way, get rid of that stuff that way. Or you can rent a space, storage, and put a lot of the stuff away. Christmas decorations, stuff in your garage, stuff in your bedrooms, stuff in your living room. Just everything that you have in every room, go and take 30% of whatever it is that you have in that bedroom, in that living room, in that kitchen, especially in the kitchen. Take 30% of that and put it away, gift it away, or sell it. One of those three things in order to depersonalize. And anyway, if you are selling your house, you want to get rid of stuff so that when you do move, you just move with the things that you need. So this is a very, very good time, even before you put the house on the market, even before you take the pictures, that you depersonalize your space and then you clean out anything that you don't need that is just taking up excess, that is going to clutter and make the space smaller. You want to make it inviting and make it look airy and big, right? For anybody that comes in to buy and look at your property. Okay, my friends. And number 7 in this list is that more things now are considered to be conveyed with the property. And some of this stuff is smart home devices. Number 7 is smart home devices. More and more buyers are inclined to ask for this in the offer. So if you don't want this conveyed, you need to clearly state it in the listing agreement so that it could be advertised that this stuff does not go with the property. Or you can leave it to lure more buyers in for example, some of this is that the ring doors that you have in your property, security cameras, or even the Alexa systems that people are so attached to. Well, sometimes people are asking for those, but if you don't want those, you need to say it up front. Or this could be the make or break things between you and another seller, or when the buyer put in an offer. So I just want you to be aware of this. Don't be too attached to this, but if you are, you need to be clear that the things are going to convey, things that are not going to convey. And number 8, this is very true to Florida. I'm pretty sure it's true to anywhere in the nation, but to Florida, this is more true than ever. You want to do an inspection of your property, especially the roof. You don't want to have any deferred maintenance, meaning you want to have your roof inspected at least once a year for maintenance, because we have a lot of tiles here in Florida, and some of the tiles get damaged by the wind, by the rain, by some of the hurricane winds that we have from time to time, or tropical storms. And you want to make sure that those are maintained so that you don't have any leakage in your room that will get worse over time. Also, if you do have an older roof, you might have to look into repairing it or replacing it, because a lot of buyers will be swayed away from your property because they're going to have higher costs of insurance, or maybe they might not even get anyone to insure your property. If the life of your roof is 5 years or less, the buyers are going to have a really, really hard time finding an insurance company to insure the purchase of this property, or have too high of an insurance premium because of your roof being too old, that they are going to be knocked out for the monthly payments that they feel comfortable paying for the property and the price point, and it will come down to that roof. So if you were looking into replacing it or into fixing it, you want to make sure that this is done. And not only do you want to make sure that this is done, you want to make sure that this is done with a licensed contractor that is going to do it through the city, so it can reflect on the city. So when somebody is trying to purchase your property and an insurance company is pulling the documentations from your property, that they can clearly see that it was done in the year that it was done and what actually was done, so that it is clear for everybody. Don't just hire anybody to just patch it up. This is very important. It has to be a licensed person that's go through the city and does it correctly. Even if it costs a little bit more, trust me, you're going to get the money twofold once you sell your property, especially if your competitors are not doing this. And then things that this is for the buyer's agent to do, but this is also for your seller's agent and for you as a seller to know, because since property are staying on the market for so much longer and buyers have more scared. The buyers are really, really nervous right now in putting offers, especially because the APR are so volatile and they can go up or they could go down, and they're looking at it every day, right? So what happened is, for number 9, you want to have shorter contingency periods. What I'm talking about is inspection period. Because if a buyer doesn't want to buy your property, you want to know this sooner than later. Because as I say to my buyers, as I say to my sellers, the worst thing that can happen to you is get off the market without selling. Get off the market because you went on the contract with the buyer that is not really serious about buying your property, or that found something in your property that they are not able to continue with this purchase, and then come back on the market as a seller without selling. That is detrimental, that not to happen to you. That's why you have to have the right agent so that they can negotiate this before you even accept the offer, because you want to vet out as much as you can to prevent this from happening. And one of these is a short contingency for inspection, because you don't want to be off the market for 15 days and the market completely change on you and then you come back without selling. What the stigma will be for you, my friend, is that there's something wrong with your property. And this tied in to number 10, the main thing that you need to do as a seller, besides all of this stuff that I just told you about, having the right agent, cleaning the clutter, having the feedback, all of this is you want to price your property correctly, even below the market. Whatever the market is saying, whatever the comps are saying, whatever they think, you need to talk to your agent and see if the housing market is going up in your neighborhood, in your city, or if it's going down, if it's neutral. And whatever that says, even place it below market value. I know it sounds horrendous for me to tell you this, because all sellers want to profit the most out of the property. But remember, just in the city of Doral, which is not the worst city right now as far as days on market, 35% of the properties did not sell last year. 65 sold, 35 didn't sell. That's a high number. So what you want to do is you want to place it underneath the market value right now, and you do what you need. I'm telling you what you have to get done to get your house sold. Property, to make it the obvious choice, because the last thing you want to do is chase the market down. Now 3 months have passed, your house didn't sell. Now, in order for you to really sell, you have to really underprice it, because a lot of buyers are overlooking your house, because remember, every day, every week, houses are coming on the market, which is going to be your new competitor, and it's going to be more attractive to the people that are on the market at that time. So you want to make sure that does not happen to you if you're a serious seller. Anyway, guys, so let me sum this up for you. So what you need to do, you need to know how the buyer's compensation work in this market. That does not mean you do not offer buyer's compensation. What it does mean is that we're not allowed to advertise it on the MLS, and it's best to negotiate at the time of the offer. That is forecasted that in 2025 we sell more houses than in 2024, 5.2 million projected. That buyers are looking for nature and they want bright and light. That it is taking longer to sell your property. You want to listen to the feedback. Even if the feedback is nothing, that means it's too high. Your property too high. You want to depersonalize it and take 30% out of your properties out of your houses and put it in storage, give it away, or sell it. The smart devices are in and more buyers want it. So if you can part with it, you part with it. If not, you need to make sure and make it clear to your seller's agent that this is not going to stay with the property. You want to make sure that your roof are up to date and maintained. If not, you need to replace them. Trust me, it will be worth the investment if you are a serious seller, because this will sell your property faster. You want to have shorter contingencies because you don't want to be off the market for too long if this buyer flicks out on the purchase of the property. And now more than ever, more than before, you need to make sure you price your property correctly, preferably under market value, so they could be the obvious choice in the buyer's eyes, because they have many choices right now. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in Building Connections Doral Talks. Thank you for coming in today. I'll see you again next week. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Bye-bye, guys.
Real quick, calling all Doral professionals, entrepreneurs, and community influencers. Are you ready to showcase your business, share your knowledge and experience with our engaged audience? Building Connections Doral Talks invites you to become a guest speaker on our podcast. Share your unique perspectives and inspiring stories with our listeners. We believe in the power of your voice in shaping that conversations right here in Doral. Click the link below to submit submit your information and be part of our next episode. Join us in building connections, sharing knowledge, and growing together. Don't miss this opportunity to be a featured guest on Building Connections Doral Talks. Tune in, connect, share, and grow together with Building Connections Doral Talks, reshaping the way we engage with the diverse voices of Doral, one guest at a time. Doral Talks, your voice, our community. Click the link now on the show notes, the screen, or in the comments below, or just scan the QR code to submit your information as a guest. I hope to see you soon. See you in the next podcast. Bye.